The complete beginner's guide to e-commerce. Nowadays, thanks to the internet, more and more people decide to start their own e-shop. And it's really easy to see why. With low barriers to entry, global transactions totaling more than $1.2 trillion in 2013, and double-digit growth forecasts, the potential is truly terrifying. In the past, if you wanted to open a store, your customer base would be limited to those within a certain radius of your store. These days, you can open your doors much wider, on a national or even international scale. The purpose of this e-commerce beginner's guide is to teach you all the essentials of starting and running an e-commerce business. What is an e-commerce store? E-commerce, short for e-commerce, is simply a way for people to buy products or services over the internet through a website. Or, to put it simply, e-commerce is an online store. Many major online retailers, including Amazon, ASOS, and Overstock, fall under the e-commerce banner, and many companies with an offline presence also have an e-commerce arm, such as Walmart, IKEA, and American Apparel. If you've ever bought anything online, you'll know how e-commerce works from a consumer perspective. The focus of today's guide is to introduce e-commerce from a business perspective. Who can open an e-commerce store? In a word, anyone. The numerous barriers to entry to running a traditional commerce store simply don't exist online. You won't need to spend months searching through potential premises. You won't need to secure a potentially risky long-term lease on the building, then spend a small fortune fitting it out. You won't need to hire a small army of workers to help you run the store. You won't even need to buy all your stock up front. Many e-commerce stores only purchase stock after they've made a sale, completely minimize their risk, called a dropshipping business model. With an e-commerce store, things are just easier. All you really need is a website, and this will be relatively quick and easy to set up, and will cost a fraction of the price. Of course, there are things that an online and offline store needs. For example, you still need some security and a way to process payments, but it's faster and cheaper to set up. With that in mind, literally anyone can start an e-commerce store. Few people have the financial means or the risk appetite that a brick-and-mortar store requires. This has led to a very competitive online market where anyone and everyone can try their luck, from small one-man entertainment retailers to the large multinationals we all know. And of course, many large retailers have a presence in more than one shopping channel, known as omnichannel retailing. For example, they can have an online e-shop, a brick-and-mortar store, a catalog, and sell through direct mail, all under the same brand. Who says your e-commerce startup can't expand into other areas? Getting started with e-commerce. At its core, e-commerce is a commercial business. The business principles needed for running an offline business still apply to running an online business, although the challenges you will face will be different. With that in mind, the basic outline of an e-commerce business model is very similar. You need products to sell, a place to sell them, and a marketing strategy to attract customers. In e-commerce stores, you will also need a strategy for the actual delivery of the goods you sell, since the customer cannot remove them from the shelf. Let's take a look at each of these concepts and compare how they differ from your approach to offline commerce. A product to sell. First, your e-commerce store will need the products you will be selling. It can be done indoors or outdoors. As an online seller, you are not limited to online suppliers when looking for your products. Any offline supplier is perfectly viable. However, due to the nature of online business, most e-commerce owners will do business with other online businesses. The process of finding products for an e-shop can be in many ways the same as for an offline store. Finding the best product at the best price, simple, right? However, there is one major difference. Digital vs physical goods. In general, the things you sell from an e-commerce store will be the same as an offline store. If you're selling PlayStation, it's a PlayStation regardless. However, running an e-commerce store also gives you the ability to sell digital products. Digital goods are the intangible version of real physical goods. Think ebooks instead of books and downloadable music and videos instead of CDs and DVDs. Compared to physical products, it has many advantages from the point of view of both the buyer and the seller. From the buyer's point of view, a digital product is good because it can be downloaded instantly. There are no shipping costs for sellers, you don't have to worry about selling, withdrawals do not affect inventory, or buying excess stock. A place to sell, your website. The main difference between an e-commerce store and a brick-and-mortar store is where you do business. Of course, for an e-commerce store, it's online. To do that, you're going to need a website. Now, your website will be arguably the most important part of your e-commerce business. After all, your website is where your customers interact with you and buy from you. The design of your website can greatly influence their opinion of you and influence the likelihood that they will make that purchase. Putting it simply, if you want to run e-commerce, your website is something you need to get right. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as picking a site and running with it, there are a lot of things to consider. After all, your website is where your customers interact with you and buy from you. The design of your website can greatly influence their opinion of you and influence the likelihood that they will make that purchase. Simply put, if you want to run e-commerce, your website is something you need to get right. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as picking a site and running with it, there are a lot of things to consider. Content management system. If you are new to web development, building a website from scratch can seem like a daunting task. The good news is that you don't need programming knowledge to create a website. You can use a so-called content management system, CMS. It basically provides a framework for your website and allows you to add and edit pages on your website with the click of a button, perfect if you want to add and organize a range of products. There are a number of CMSs available, but this can get overwhelming for beginners. For simplicity, I'll stick to comparing two of the most commonly used CMSs, WordPress and Shopify. WordPress. WordPress is actually the most popular CMS today, powering over 20% of the internet. It's a self-hosted CMS, meaning you need your own web hosting, but otherwise it's completely free to use. There are two versions of WordPress, WordPress.org and WordPress.com. WordPress.com is great for testing the waters because it's completely free to try, you don't need your own host, but it has a few limitations that make it unsuitable for running an online business. Going forward, when I talk about WordPress, I'm only talking about WordPress.org. This is the version that can be used to create an online store. You start with WordPress by installing a theme for your website. A theme is the visual design used for your website. There are literally thousands of themes available. Some of them are completely free, while others are classified as premium themes and come with a price tag. The theme you choose will drive the design and layout of your website, although many themes have options to customize things like color schemes. Themes can also be customized by hiring a developer. With some excellent themes available for less than $50, you can have the basics of a great website for a relatively low price. One of the best ways to find premium themes is to browse ThemeForest, where you can see examples of all the different themes in action. ThemeForest themes vary in quality, so when you choose a theme, we recommend that you look at the number of sales, buyer star ratings and comments on the theme. WordPress also allows you to install well-known plugins that offer more specific features to your site. For example, if you want to enable social sharing on your website, you can install a plugin to add social icons to each page. As with the themes, there are thousands of plugins, both free and premium. If you decide to use WordPress, you'll need to install an e-commerce plugin to add shopping cart functionality to your website. We'll explain how to do this soon. If you want more help and direction when choosing a theme or plugins, there are many great WordPress resources, including theme and plugin roundups, reviews, and tutorials. Some of the best ones are WP Tavern, WP Lift and WP Explorer. Shopify. Shopify was created specifically to support e-commerce stores and currently has over 100,000 online stores. Shopify is a hosted CMS, otherwise known as Software as a Service, SaaS. It is basically an all-in-one solution that provides everything you need to run an e-commerce website. The ability to have everything under one roof is nice, but at the same time Shopify has limitations compared to WordPress and is more expensive. Just like WordPress, you can choose a theme that provides the overall design of your website. There are fewer themes available, but all are designed from an e-commerce perspective. Many themes can be customized within the theme, or you can hire a developer to customize the theme to your liking. Free themes are available, but premium themes are more expensive, between $80 and $180, which is still very cheap compared to a custom build and cheaper than a brick-and-mortar store. Just like WordPress, you can also add plugins to your theme, although most of them are paid plugins. With a platform that caters exclusively to e-commerce stores, your site comes with a built-in store feature that gives you a little configuration functionality. Hosting. Every website needs hosting. A web host essentially stores your website on one of their servers, which means it can be accessed by other internet users. Put another way, no host, no website. Now, if you've decided to use Shopify, all hosting is included within your monthly plan. If you want to stock more than 25 products, the plans start from $29 per month and go as high as $179. As far as hosting goes, that is quite expensive. However, this also includes all security considerations and a shopping cart solution. If you want to use WordPress, you'll have a lot more hosting options. Some popular web hosts include HostGator, Bluehost, and SiteGround, with plans available from a staggeringly low $3.95 per month. There are a number of dedicated WordPress hosting services available. These are called managed WordPress hosts. Not only are these services among the fastest hosts around, but they will also help you manage your WordPress website by optimizing it for speed, security, and updates. You can do all this yourself, but it's useful to have specialists helping with these tasks. One of the more popular managed WordPress hosting services is WP Engine, with plans available from $29 per month. Domain. Your domain name is your web address, and is what your customers will need to type in to access your website. Think www.amazon.com. When you start using Shopify, you will be able to use a free address. While this address will work, we strongly recommend a custom domain. Doesn't http://bettysboutique.com look more professional? If you are serious about running a good e-commerce, your own domain name is a must. For simplicity, you can buy your own domain through Shopify or your host, but often the most cost-effective way is to use another service, such as Namecheap. With custom domains available for less than $10 a year, there's no reason not to invest in one. Shopping cart. Your e-commerce website also needs shopping cart software. This allows users to drop a few products into their cart before calculating the total, including shipping costs, and taking the customer to the checkout to pay. If you want to use Shopify, the solution to your shopping cart is simple. All Shopify e-commerce stores have a built-in shopping cart feature. You can add your products, attach a price tag, and Shopify allows users to add them to their shopping cart. With WordPress, this is a slightly trickier area. WordPress does not include e-commerce functionality, so you need to install a plugin for this task. There are several free plugins available, with over 4 million downloads. WooCommerce is the most popular and highly recommended. WooCommerce. WooCommerce also comes with a number of plugin extensions, some free, most paid, that allow you to add more features to your store, including the ability to seamlessly integrate your chosen payment processor or set up recurring billing. Once WooCommerce is installed, you can create product pages from your WordPress dashboard where you can add product details, images, prices, shipping costs, and even stock levels. As you add your products, this will also create a storefront, where users will be able to see your product range in a grid, and also allow users to add a product to their basket. It can be tricky to find your bearings with WooCommerce, but fortunately there is some very detailed documentation to help you out. It's worth noting that not all WordPress plugins are compatible with every theme, so make sure your theme supports WooCommerce before purchasing. Payment gateway. To run an e-commerce website, you need a payment gateway to authorize and process your customers' transactions, not to transfer money directly to your bank account. After the successful processing of each transaction, the money goes to a deposit account, the so-called merchant account, from where it can be withdrawn to your own account. If you decide to go with self-hosted WordPress, you have several options. The two most popular payment processors for WordPress users are PayPal and Stripe. PayPal has been around for a long time, and you may know it from its association with eBay. Stripe is newer but has the advantage of offering a payment method. PayPal works by redirecting customers from your website to a dedicated payment page where they can pay using their PayPal account or by entering their bank details. Stripe allows the customer to pay by card directly from your website. From this point of view, Stripe offers a better user experience. It's a simpler process, but PayPal is easier to integrate. There's nothing stopping you from using both, and in most cases that's the solution I recommend. If you choose Shopify's hosted approach, your website can use its own internal payment gateway, but you also have the option of an external solution such as PayPal or Stripe. It should be noted that the Shopify gateway is only available in the US and Canada. Stripe is available in the US, Canada, UK, Australia and most of Europe, and PayPal is available almost worldwide. All three services can be set up and integrated for free. You only pay for each successfully processed transaction, with a small fee deducted from the money received. Now, there are many factors that affect the fees you pay: your location, the number of transactions you process and your membership level. However, all three services start with the same fee structure for US customers, at 2.9% plus 30 cents for the lowest membership type. This means you will pay $3.20 for a $100 transaction. Note that if you are a Shopify user who wants to use an external payment gateway, you will be charged an additional transaction fee of 0.5 to 2% depending on your monthly plan. Website security. As well as a payment gateway, you'll also need on-site security before you can begin taking customers' card payments on your website. You must comply by a standardized set of rules, called PCI compliance. There are a number of aspects of your website that needs to be PCI compliant: your server, your payment gateway and your shopping cart. The good news is that these are things you won't have to deal with, as all the major hosts, payment processors and shopping carts, the ones I've included in this article, are all PCI compliant. However, in some cases you also need an SSL certificate for your website. An SSL certificate provides additional security to your customers by encrypting the connection between your customer and your website. This is important when dealing with sensitive information such as credit card details. Whether you need to install an SSL certificate yourself depends on the payment processor used. If you use PayPal, this is something you don't have to worry about. The sensitive payment information is not entered on your website, rather it is entered on PayPal's own website, meaning PayPal has to provide SSL. Since Shopify offers an all-in-one service, hosting, shopping cart, payment gateway, they also include SSL. Stripe users must take responsibility and install their own SSL certificate. However, it is actually less difficult than it seems. The easiest method is to contact your hosting provider and purchase it from them. If you use one of the big hosting companies, they'll take care of the installation themselves, one less thing to worry about. Marketing strategy. Every business needs a steady stream of customers to survive. For offline businesses, this means customers through their doors, and for an e-commerce business, it means people looking at their website. Once you've created your website, you need to come up with a strategy to get visitors to it. Today, many marketing strategies for entering the offline world can be relevant online as well. Word of mouth is always powerful, and traditional print and TV ads can build awareness, if you have the budget. E-commerce stores can also use social media to expand their online presence. Social media not only gives you a way to communicate with your customers, but every time your business is mentioned in a positive way, it's a golden seal of approval, the online version of the word in the mouth. People respect their friends' opinions, so if someone is committed to you on Facebook, other people are likely to check you out. However, the primary source of traffic for most e-commerce stores will come from search engines: Google, Bing and Yahoo. How do you get your website to appear on the search engine results pages, SERPs? There are two solutions, paid and free. A paid solution is the easiest way to get your website visible in the SERPs. Every search engine has a paid set of results for every search query, with Google's AdWords being the most popular. Basically, you analyze the types of phrases your potential customers are likely to search for on Google and then bid on that phrase. For example, a hardware store might offer search terms like "buy electrical appliances." The more you bid, the higher your website will be listed. You pay every time a user clicks on your link, not for a set amount of time. The free method is a longer process, but more profitable, not to mention cost-effective. In the online world, this is called SEO, or search engine optimization. Each search engine has its own algorithm that determines how websites are ranked for each search query. There are steps you can take to help your website rank better for the keywords you want to target. SEO is a broad topic that is beyond the scope of this article, but one of the best ways to help improve your website is to get other websites to link to your website. Each link tells Google that your website must be high quality to be link-worthy, and this causes Google to look on your website more favorably. If you can rank well for several key keywords, you'll have the regular influx of traffic your e-commerce store needs to survive. If you want to learn more about SEO, Moz is a fantastic resource. Shipping. The other major difference between bricks-and-mortar commerce and e-commerce is the way customers receive their products. With an offline store, it's easy. Customers simply lift the products off the shelf, take them to the checkout to pay, then walk out of the store with them. With an e-commerce store, you'll need to find a solution for delivering your products to the customer. If you're not careful, this can take a lot of time and effort. Multiple trips to the post office each day isn't ideal. The good news is that there are a number of more sophisticated solutions available to you. Nowadays, everyone is excited about specialized shipping services. It works by centralizing all aspects of your shipping. You get your suppliers to ship your products directly to a distribution center where your inventory is stored, ready to be packed and shipped to your customers after a successful order. It takes you out of the transportation equation entirely, giving you more time to focus on more productive tasks. Fulfillment services have become prominent recently, with Amazon announcing its own fulfillment service and Shopify announcing its own user service. WordPress users shouldn't feel left out, because there are a number of shipping startups popping up for you to take advantage of. These include cloud fulfillment, as well as the Amazon service, provided you also run an Amazon store. E-commerce stores can also use what is known as a dropshipping business model, which we've briefly touched on already. With this approach, your suppliers ship the products directly to your customer. From your point of view, this is highly beneficial. You don't have to worry about buying 1,000 units in advance. The supplier simply ships following each order. This minimizes your risk of holding unwanted stock, cuts down on delivery charges and the time involved, and also eliminates storage costs. Wrapping up this beginner's guide to e-commerce. Armed with this information, you should have everything you need to get your e-commerce business off the ground. If you think you're too late to the party, you couldn't be more wrong. The future of e-commerce is rosy, and there are a number of exciting challenges ahead. For example, in 2014, internet users on mobile and tablet devices will finally outnumber good old-fashioned desktops, and mobile users are spending more time on mobile apps than on the desktop web. How will the e-commerce world adapt to consumers' changing preferences in how they want to shop online? Will the rise of 3D printers see an explosion in personalization and customization, and how will online retailers cope? Many forecasters believe this is the end of fixed SKUs in favor of an infinitely customizable product line. Could it also open the door for independent product designers to market their products, just as Kindle created a market for self-publishing authors? And what of cryptocurrencies? With the rise in popularity of Bitcoin, a number of large online retailers, most notably Dell, have invested heavily in cryptocurrency infrastructure. How will other online stores react to the increasing consumer pressures to integrate cryptocurrencies as a valid payment method? From both a consumer perspective and a business perspective, there are certainly exciting times ahead for e-commerce. We would like to read your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.